Hello, my name's David Lamb. I'm the chairperson for the NMRA Division 7 YouTube Committee, and today we're visiting Sam Parfitt's amazing HO scale Great Northern Railroad. We'll meet Sam and tour his railroad following a brief message about the NMRA Division 7. Are you a model railroader in the Cincinnati area? Maybe you are new to the hobby and would like to learn more. The National Model Railroad Association Division 7 is an ideal place to start. Everyone from experienced modelers to newcomers are welcome. The monthly meeting is a great place to meet people and ask questions. Visit the Division 7 website for more information and make plans to attend an upcoming meeting and become part of this exciting and talented organization. I got the chance to see Sam's layout and participate in an operating session in December 2023. Sam is extremely open about sharing his layout with visitors, making this one of the more accessible layouts you'll find. Sam, thank you for inviting us to see your layout. Can you give us an overview of what we'll see in the video?
The Great Northern Railway was started in 1979, so it is now 45 years old, which I believe is one of the oldest private functional layouts in the country. In dog years, that's old. The railroad operates between St. Paul, Minnesota and Seattle, Washington, and models 1938. The main theme of the layout was to run scale-length freight trains of 25 to 45 cars and passenger trains of 10 to 18 cars. The main line is single track with passing sidings. The main line is 400 feet long with two freight yards, one at St. Paul and the other at Seattle. Each freight yard has around a 400 car capacity and two 130-foot index turntables. There is one passenger staging yard with about 180 passenger cars. Height varies from 36 inches to 58 inches with a minimum radius of 48 inches and all number 10 turnouts. Basically, the layout is a large helix that goes around the 33-foot by 47-foot basement.
Why did you model the Great Northern Railroad?
Back when I was young, many moons ago, on the back of Model Railroad magazine was always a PFM ad that showed their exquisite brass engines being released for that month. The owner was a Great Northern fan, and with the colorful green boilers, it hooked me into modeling the Great Northern Railroad.
Your layout is large and has the ability to run multiple trains at one time. And technology has changed a lot in the 45 years that you've been operating. How has this affected how you control the railroad?
Initially, I used the PFM sound system and a wireless throttle that used a radio-controlled transmitter. The wireless throttle was a kit that I had to build. The how-to was in a 1983 Model Railroad magazine. Back then, the PFM sound system was high-tech, having sounds coming from the engine. Several years ago, a Model Railroad brought his DCC command station to my house, and we attached it to the railroad. To my surprise, it worked on the layout and I was hooked. It's been a lot of work, but I've installed over 100 engines with DCC decoders. I use Digitrack wireless duplex throttles. There are 11 circuit breakers for the layout and one reverser for the upper 3-track staging interchange loop. The trains are monitored and controlled by a prototype signaling system, i.e. red, green, yellow, using NMRA's recently developed LCC. A PC monitor is used as a dispatcher's panel, controlling the mainline turnouts, and the train locations are highlighted in red, plus indicating if the train is east or westbound. All cabooses have functional marker lights, so a block is not clear until the caboose leaves that block.
There is a lot to take in on your layout. With 3 levels of main line running through mountainous scenery, what do you think makes your Great Northern Railway unique?
There is 1,500 feet of track on the layout. All the track is handmade and spiked on individual wooden ties. All 100 turnouts are handmade. There is a 10-foot long icing platform at St. Paul and a 14-foot long icing platform at Seattle. About 300 of the freight cars are vintage metal Athearn and Varney cars, or wooden Silver Streak and Android kits. Scenery is 100% complete with one snow scene at Glacier. Structures are the usual plastic to wood kits. There are 5 functional, with sound, water tanks on the main line for steam engines. One mountain has a functional storm with lightning.
I noticed sections of the layout have overhead catenary. Was this part of the real Great Northern Railroad?
Part of the Great Northern Railroad had been electrified to pull trains through the very long 8-mile Cascade Tunnel. I wanted to replicate this. The catenary on the layout was installed around the 1990s after the layout was built and the scenery was completed. That took a lot of time installing as all of the structures are brass with wire strung between them, so all of this was soldered. I have a lot of Great Northern Electrics and I converted them to run on the overhead wires so they could pull trains through the Cascade Tunnel, replicating the prototype. Fortunately, with DCC, I can replicate this operation without using the catenary, so it is now just cosmetic.
One of the things I was most impressed with on your layout is your collection of engines. Can you tell us a little bit about your motive power collection?
The bulk of the engines are steam. Next are electrics, and then I have some diesels, but most are when the prototypes were made in the 30s, i.e. E1s through E6s. Initially, I bought a lot of Great Northern steam engines. Then I started to purchase engines that interface with the Great Northern, which were a lot of railroads, i.e. MP, SP&S, Burlington, Milwaukee, SP, UP, etc. After that, I started acquiring engines that were iconic or historical, so you'll find a lot of railroads represented. Most of these foreign engines are kept on a table, and I allow railroaders to pick and choose those engines if they want to run them on the layout.
That was one of the things I really enjoyed when I operated on your layout. I got the chance to run a Norfolk and Western Y6B, which is something I don't expect to ever have on my layout or have the ability to run. With all those engines, and as long as you've been collecting them, what is needed to prepare an engine to run on your layout?
I have spent around 40 years getting these engines roadworthy. Most of them had to be disassembled, painted, remotored, some re-geared, and then installed decoders and lighting. I go overboard on the DCC side. Besides installing the decoder, I installed tiny 0402 LEDs in the engines. Once these very tiny LEDs were made available, I could drill out not only the headlights, but also the marker lights, something that one used to only see on O-gauge engines. This includes headlight, engine and tender, marker lights, engine and the tender if on the prototype, running board lights so the engineer can see where to lubricate the valve mechanism, cab light, and the firebox glow. With all those wires, I need to solder 8 wires on a custom connector between the engine and tender. Some engines had no cab detail, so a back head is added, and usually a deck plate is also added. Lately, I've been becoming lazy and have been buying Broadway Limited and MTH engines, especially since they have smoke. The smoking engines take me back to when I was a kid with my smoking Lionel trains. Some of the engines even have smoking whistles, which is very cool.
For the engines that you still have to prepare, how long does it take you to prepare a steam engine?
Since the engine has to be disassembled before painting, it can take a good week. Being retired, a week means I can work on the engine several hours a day. Holes have to be drilled for all the LEDs, speaker ports, and wire harnesses. Parts are washed and dried, and then the wheel treads are masked before painting. The basic black is applied twice. Each time the parts are put in a toaster oven at 200 degrees for 2 hours. I've always used scale coat paint, but they went out of business. But fortunately, I have enough paint to do my few remaining engines that need painting. The hard part is masking an engine that is multicolored, such as the glacier colors on the Great Northern engines and the gray boilers on NP and other engines. Some masking tape needs to be as thin as 1/64 inch wide.
In your entire collection of engines, is there anything unique about any of the engines?
Some of the engines are highly detailed by the importer. Some of the steam engines have functional sand hatches, toward hatches, closed cab doors, water hatches on the tender, see-through walkboards, and even functional doors on the smoke box.
Sam, we still have a lot to talk about on your layout, but I'm going to stop the questions in this video here so that the viewers can enjoy not only the sights of your layout, but also the magnificent sounds from your engines. We'll resume our conversation in part 2 in a couple weeks.
Let's move out.
Sam's Great Northern Railroad has provided us so much content, we are going to publish 2 videos on his layout. This is a good breaking point for the first video. We hope you've enjoyed it, and please look forward to part 2 in the coming weeks. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button and be sure to subscribe to the NMRA Division 7 YouTube channel to be notified about future videos. For more information about the NMRA Division 7, please visit our website and our Facebook page.